In today's video, I'm going to break down the power of the alter ego, why it's so important for you reaching your highest and most powerful versions of yourself so you show up more fully, and how to use it to let go of some of these other weaker or more disempowered versions of you so you can show up with this higher self in terms of abundance, in terms of creativity, in terms of joy, in terms of self-worth, and also the psychological principles on how to embed that version of you into your daily life and how to get to know that version of you so he or she shows up more consistently in your daily, your weekly, and even your lifetime, right? Your destiny, how they shift that part of your destiny by bringing that version of you into your life so much more. So I'm going to give you the practical how-tos, the why, and then some other really cool stories of top performers who use the alter ego to show up in their fullest and best on the biggest stages in the world. All right, so let's dive in. The power of the alter ego. Now this originally, I would say for me, I discovered it through NLP about 15 years ago. When I got master certified in NLP, and there's a process of you identify and you name parts of yourself. And I actually used that to help pull myself out of a dark spiral where I had lost $1 million and I was just in a funk. And I had a version of me I called Weak Ass Willie. And Weak Ass Willie was leading my life for about a year, showing up with a lot of shame, his tail tucked between his legs. He did not want to show himself in public. And then I had this other version that I got connected with about a year into that, and his name was Magic Mike. And he was so powerful that he helped me pull out of that dark season. He helped me pay off literally like $2.2 million of debt in 18 months. And he's helped me transform, and I'm in this early season. I would call it early. I mean, a couple years in, but I'm still very early in terms of rebuilding my brand, my worth, my self-worth, my net worth, I would call it as well. And it's a very exciting season. All right. And now as I'm in this season, these other alter egos are showing up and guiding me and allowing me to get there a lot faster. So I should also mention Todd Herman wrote a great book a few years ago called The Alter Ego Effect. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I've read it as well, read it a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed it. He broke down some cool processes and pathways on how to do it. So you want to check that out as well, but you don't need to. All right. Actually, in my Claim Your Power NLP meditation, and then the worksheet I'm going to give you, you're going to get 90% of what you need. All right. So the worksheet is going to be in the link below. So go ahead and grab that, the alter ego, and let's dive in. I'm going to walk through the processes and the pathways, but I'm first going to work on the psychology because I want you guys to understand the psychology of this and why it's so important. All right. So in the psychology of this, what happens is if you think of how our minds work, our minds are constrained by their perspective. Okay. So if I see things from this vantage point, all right, then it's hard for me to go up and beyond. Right. And so if I'm just directly looking at, like, if I see myself from the version of me that's made $30,000 a month, well, it's going to be hard for me to see myself making $100,000 because I only see that perspective. Okay. So one of the powerful aspects of the alter ego is our minds are infinitely creative. And you look at Einstein. Einstein didn't necessarily directly create an alter ego, but he did thought experiments where he imagined himself in different perspectives. Like he solved the theory of relativity, or he created it, by doing thought experiments where he would see himself riding a light wave bending around planets. As he's riding that light wave, he started seeing, oh, okay, there's something here. And he started creating this theory of relativity that became what he won his Nobel Prize on and created the whole nuclear energy movement, or accelerated it, right? It was already kind of early in its stages. So by creating these radically different perspectives, our minds can solve very complex problems. All right. Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich, where you create this board of advisors. And in this board of advisors, he had like Abraham Lincoln, he had Jesus, and he had Rockefeller, and he had Carnegie on his board of advisors. And if he needs a question about spirit and soul, he would go to Jesus. If he needs a question about keeping difficult people together and uniting people, then he would go to Lincoln and imagine himself having that conversation and asking Lincoln, hey, how would you handle this? What are the principles that would guide you? And he would see Lincoln giving him advice in Lincoln's voice. So when you create these powerful board of advisors, or it's really a perspective shift, okay? It's creating this radically different perspective to help guide you today. And same thing with alter ego effect. It's basically where I'm going to go off. I'm going to help you find in your nervous system, and your body is going to tell you the name of your alter ego. Okay, and that's what I do in the Claim Your Power NLP meditation, which I highly, highly recommend you go ahead and do that here in a minute. But finish this video and then go ahead and knock that out and see what happens, see what comes up for you in terms of the name of a version of you that's showing up that's disempowering right now, that we want to be in the back seat, no longer driving our life. And then you want the more powerful version to be driving your life. So we want him or her in the front seat in the driver's wheel, or handling the driver's wheel, right? So I also want you to imagine, here's the challenge, here's why this is powerful, is because we are programmed by default. So the program, like if my version, Weak Ass Willie, his programming is shame, and his programming is fear and hesitation and self-doubt. Well, if he is driving my car, driving my life, then that's his program. I don't want that program to be driving my life, okay? I want the more powerful version. I want Hollywood Mike Z or Magic Mike or some of these other versions of me that I have that are really good and abundant and creative and powerful. And they have different programming, okay? So it allows you to just radically lift into a different state and a different mindset and a different energy and a different confidence, okay? So let's go through this. I should also mention, one of my favorite quotes I have in my book, The Genius Within, says your identity precedes your destiny. And here's what that means. It's basically an invisible ceiling on who you can become. So if I have my identity up here is I'm worthy of earning $10 million a year, okay, or $1 million or $100,000, whatever it may be. Whatever that identity is, even if I'm not there yet, that identity is the ceiling, as long as I feel that it is possible and true, even if it's not all the way realized and actualized yet. All right? So your identity precedes your destiny, and that's why you often have to work on your identity first before you can create a new destiny. All right? I really invite people, you got to do that hard work of like going down into your psyche, down into your identity, seeing yourself as your higher self, connecting with that version of you, and then that raises the ceiling. It's like, if you've got a gallon bucket of water, all it can hold is a gallon. So if you keep pouring water in, and let's say the water is more wealth, more abundance, more possibilities, that bucket is only going to hold 1 gallon. But if I shift that bucket and I create a new identity of a 5-gallon bucket, now it can hold a lot more. Okay, so let's go through the actual process. All right, and psychologically, you want to start asking yourself, which is, what if I am worthy of this? What if I can become this? What if I have more capacity than I realize? Okay, and then asking yourself other questions, because your questions kind of direct the course of your life. All right, how do I get more tapped into my most powerful self? How do I get my most powerful version to show up on command when I need that version of me to let go? Here are a few of the benefits of how it helps high performance. First one is it enhances confidence. Okay, really elevates your confidence when you're anchored into that higher self, that alter ego. Second, it helps embrace traits and qualities that you want to be more present in your life. One of my favorite stories is Beyonce. Beyonce, in her early days, she was a choir girl, a church choir girl, which is not, church choirs are not known for phenomenal dancing and entertainment in the pop world. But she had to learn, and she had to find this alter ego. And her alter ego name was Sasha Fierce. So she would visualize and see herself being Sasha Fierce before she goes out on stage and performs, and that would help her embrace those traits and qualities and enhance her confidence, which also brings to the third thing, increase her focus and concentration to be that version of her and to not worry about this other version of her, to create the version of her and to be that version of her when she needed to be that version. And then when she's off stage, she can be sweet and she can be kind and doesn't have to be the superstar, right? Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant had Black Mamba. Black Mamba on the stage, he's a fierce competitor with a killer mindset, right? And he wants to win and dominate, right? Then the fourth thing, so if you see these other alter egos, they unlock so much for you. The fourth thing they unlock is they help you overcome limiting beliefs, because you're literally bypassing them. You're not even trying to go through them. You're not trying to necessarily bust through those. You're just going to this other version of you that doesn't have those limiting beliefs. It's a rapid way to access a higher version of you, okay? Fifth, they enhance your creative expression, meaning gives you creative freedom in your identity. And it's why, a lot of entertainers, they have their stage presence, and they have different outfits for their stage versus and speakers have that, right, too, or athletes have that. Then the sixth thing is the role play and visualization, where you're starting to see yourself act and play and be that version of you. So those are some of the traits or benefits of the alter ego. Let me take you through the actual process, some of the actual process of doing it. All right, and these are the questions that I have in the worksheet as well. So I want to just give you guys these questions to think about. First one is, what is his or her name? That's what I do in the alter ego, or in the Claim Your Power NLP version. I help you find that alter ego. Second thing, the name of that version of you also dictates how you walk. How does that version of you walk? Does it walk with it a little more swagger, longer strides, shoulders back, chin up, more alert, more powerful, more confident? How does that version of you talk? Which is the third question. What is his or her self-talk like? Is he or she encouraging or optimistic or forthright or bold, right? Or obviously timid if it's a disempowering alter ego. Fourth, what does that version of you, or how does that version of you talk to others? Right? How does he or she interact with others? Fifth, what does he or she wear? Whatever she wants to. Right? She's bold, or she has a certain personality and a style, or he does, right? I have certain shirts and jackets that are part of my alter ego when I'm doing certain things, right? Six, what type of music? What are the songs he or she listens to? And start making a Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music playlist. Start making a playlist that represents that higher version of you, so that you can tap into that version and you can just subconsciously activate and trigger that version of you. Seventh, the gestures or mannerisms that version of you makes. What does he or she do? Imagine, hey, like, how does he or she move? Like LeBron James has King James. That's one of his alter egos, right? Michael Jordan, Air Jordan. You just figure out those versions of you and what type of mannerisms, like Jordan had his tongue coming out, right? So you figure out some of those versions and gestures. And then eighth, what are the sayings or favorite phrases, right? So think of, like, entertainers will often have certain favorite phrases and things like that they will create that are just like Tony Robbins, unleash the power within, date with destiny, and he says, you get what you tolerate in life, and other things that are just very Tony Robbins-esque. And he asks also questions like, hey, what if life is working out for you? When pain is a gift from above to awaken you to your destiny, or whatever, right? So he has certain things that are just anchored into his physiology and phrases that he becomes known for. Rituals is a ninth thing. What are the rituals of this version of you? Because if you start anchoring into the rituals and you start imagining and start activating and start being those rituals, then they become second nature. What's that version of you read or do in the morning or the evening or during the day, right? What's the monthly self-care, or how he or she shows up? 10th thing, actions. What are 3 to 5 action steps this version of you would take today or this week towards your dreams and goals? Okay. 11th, calling forth. What does this version of you call forth? What situations? How does that version of you activate people onto his or her mission? Okay. Also, how does that version of you visualize and pre-wire his or her brain? And then the last 2 questions. 3 reasons you're grateful to have this version of you at any time. So the reason I have it framed like that is because I want you to feel the gratitude of having that version of you active in your life, because I want you to see it as true and present right now. And then number 13, 3 reasons to have faith in yourself. Start training your brain and your nervous system to look for evidence of why this version of you is present. Look for the faith that you should have in yourself, and you seek and you shall find. So if you are retraining your brain and your nervous system to find evidence, then you're no longer finding evidence against, right? And then if you see evidence against, then you acknowledge, hey, is this really true, right? Or is there a gift, or what's the good intent or purpose of this setback or this trial? All right, I'm gonna leave you with this last quote. It's from Jen Sincero's book, You Are Badass at Making Money, and it is. Here's the quote. It is this conscious choosing of your thoughts, beliefs, and words. It's mastering your mindset, and master it you must if you'd like to live a large and in charge version of your life instead of being bossed around by your circumstances. All right, so I want to invite you guys. This version, this higher alter ego is ready and available for you at any time. Bring him or her to life. You will not regret it. Do this exercise. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know with some likes. Share it with a friend that should do the alter ego exercise as well. Let me know however else I can help, and be sure to do the Claim Your Power NLP meditation, because it's going to help anchor that in and sear it in to the very neural pathways of your subconscious mind. Can't wait to hear more. Much love.